Hi, this is Elizabeth Blandon representing the Blandon Law Team of Immigration Lawyers. And I'm here today on Giving Tuesday, giving free legal advice that might help you. Every other week we do it in different languages, sometimes in English, sometimes in Spanish. And today's topic is the difference between an immigration interview and an immigration hearing in court. So sometimes people will say, well, what's the difference? Both a judge, an immigration judge, and an immigration officers are actually employees of the administration. So like their boss is, in the end, President Trump. They have to follow the policies. However, there are certain very important differences. And hello to everyone who's joining us now. This video is being recorded so you can share it with your friends who can't speak at this moment, who can't see us while I'm speaking rather. So an immigration interview is very intimate. There's an office and a foreign national has to go into that office with documents and proof. The officer will ask a few questions, but it'll be more like a conversation. So the officer will ask, almost always will ask every single question on the applications, and then in addition, the person who's there will get the opportunity to hand documents. When must you take an immigration attorney? I always tell people that if you have ever had any arrests, even if you've had no convictions, you should always take an immigration attorney. And that's simply because any kind of arrest may get you into deportation problems. Also, if you're going to an asylum interview, that's done at a completely separate building by officers who are trained specifically in that kind of law. Similarly, back in the day, it used to be that if someone went to go get their citizenship, they'd go to a different building. And then those officers were also trained specifically in law of citizenship. Not so much any day now. Now citizenship is handled by a normal immigration officer. So if you're going to an interview, be prepared for a more casual conversation. Again, those officers have the ability to put you into deportation proceedings. So what you're doing at that office is you might be setting yourself up for future problems. And that's why you would want to take an immigration attorney, to avoid future problems. By contrast, if you're in court, you are already at the deep end of the ocean. You are already one pen stroke away from a judge saying you have to leave the country. You are already in problems, and that is why you need an immigration attorney at that point. There's absolutely no doubt. Why? Because one wrong word can get you in trouble. I was basically in immigration court yesterday, and I was listening to a client that had this very simple little problem happen to him in immigration court. He was there to ask for voluntary departure. All you have to do is say to the judge, "Your Honor, may I please voluntarily leave the US?" That could not have been any easier, right? But he was there without an immigration attorney. And of course, the judge has to ask specific questions. And when the judge asked, "Are you afraid of going back to your home country?" the translator said it in such a way that the client did not understand what the judge was asking. And because the client did not understand what the translator was saying, he said, "Yes, I'm afraid of going back to my country." Right there, the judge stopped the case and said, "I cannot allow you to go voluntarily back to a country that you're saying you're afraid to go back to." So now we have to go for another hearing in 6 more months, where now you have to defend yourself and come with an immigration attorney. Basically a whole big mess just because he didn't understand one word in one question. All of that would have been avoided if he'd gone with an immigration attorney, because I myself and other immigration attorneys have the ability to say to the judge, "Your Honor, that translation is incorrect." Okay, so it's very important to understand that when you're at an immigration hearing, even though you're there with basically an employee of immigration or an employee of the administration, it's not at all a casual conversation. Every word matters, every paragraph matters. Anything you say will be used against you in a court of law, and that is the court of law. And what you want to do is make sure you have an immigration attorney by your side, because for sure on the other side, immigration has very well-trained attorneys fighting for them and trying to get you deported. Okay? You will, however, the one thing that the hearing and the interview have in common is you'll be allowed to present your evidence, but at a hearing, the difference is that you'll give it to your attorney first. And so the attorney will look at it and say, I know that the way this letter is written, for example, will not be allowed in by the judge for whatever reason. And then you'll have the opportunity to rework the letter, maybe put a date on it or whatever else is needed. Okay, so that's the main difference between an immigration interview and court. Something else that you should know is that whether you're in an interview or you're in court, you may have the opportunity to appeal. So if you've already been either to an interview or court and you need to appeal because you have a deportation order on your head, or you want to do a motion to reopen your case, you would definitely need to go see a very experienced immigration attorney. For our clients, we're here to do that and make their immigration goals a reality. If you're doing it on your own, again, the only thing I recommend is that you do not go into immigration court alone. But then again, even the immigration judges will tell you that. So it's been our pleasure on today's Giving Tuesday. We look forward to seeing you next week.